Hey everyone, it's Aisha here, and this video is brought to you by Mom. And follow us on our social media, so let's spell together. The topic today we're going to cover is clinical note structure and de-identification. Basically, your text pre-processing for your noisy EHR narratives. What is EHR? You guys should know it by now. It is your electronic health records. Let's just start today's lecture. We have anatomy of a clinical note. If I say the words clinical note, what comes to your mind? What are your clinical notes and how do you take them? In what kind of environment are you taking them? We have an analogy here, and that is this chef's recipe. It's not your put together book. It's not a polished book. It's just scribbled records that you made in the heat of the moment. That's how the clinical notes are recorded, right? We all know that. Here we have this framework called SOAP framework. That's how you're going to memorize it for the exam as well. Your subjective, your objective, your assessment, and the plan. So for your subjective, what the patient comes with, he or she is saying something, what the patient says to you. And for example, the patient is saying that my chest hurts, okay? So that is the subjective, that is the observation or the feelings of that specific patient. And then you have objective, your measurable facts that you're going to take, which are like your blood pressure, your EKG findings, and all that. Your blood pressure that shows like 140 by 90, for example. You're going to do the assessment, you're going to diagnose it, you're going to see that that specific patient could possibly have angina, right? And then you plan. You see that what next steps you're going to take. You're going to schedule the stress test for that patient, that see that if he or she is going by the stress, and that is why they're feeling this angina pain or not. Moving on to the next thing, that is taming the noise in EHRs. Your clinical data is inherently messy, okay? And why? It is due to the high pressure and the environment it is collected in, right? So we have three kind of the noises we have here. The medical typos. What are your medical typos? Your rush typing leads to these kind of orthographic errors like hypertension or diarrhea. Moving on to the ambiguous shorthands, your acronyms, the acronyms you use, they often have multiple meanings. So it's just like the one mentioned here. The PE could literally mean physical exam, that could mean your pulmonary embolism or pleural effusion, could be anything. So it is creating a mess here. Then we have copy paste load. What is your copy paste load? Your notes often include repetitive kind of a data and that redundant kind of an information which is carried forward from the previous visits of that client, that patient, that is obscuring to your new clinical insights. All right. Moving on to the important part of today's lecture, and that is introduction to the de-identification. What is de-identification? The juicy story analogy. De-identification is basically telling a story. Like while telling a story about your friend, you're gonna change the name, you're gonna change the job so that you get to protect the identity. Okay, it is our legal and ethical shield in health data science. This is what we're providing the people, the public, that we're gonna save your name, we're gonna save your identity. Okay, we have HIPAA and predictive health info for this, PHI call that. We have different types of identifiers. We have four here, the direct identifiers, your temporal data, your geographic info, and your digital footprints, okay? What could be your direct identifiers? Your name, your biometrics, your addresses. Obviously, we gotta know it is mandatory. We're gonna know who the patient is, where he or she is coming from. And then we have the temporal data, your date of birth, your admission discharge dates, and all that. That is mandatory as well to keep the record safe, to know when the patient came in and when they left. Then we have our geographic info. That could be your zip codes. It says unless large population, like greater than 20K, so you're supposed to record the zip codes for the people or the population that is above 20K. Other than that, it's not necessary. Then we have your digital footprints. What could be your digital footprints? Your emails, your URLs, your IP addresses, and all that. It is mandatory as well. Moving on, okay, why name and date? The pretty good part. I call it your masking and reduction, okay? So we have the context preservation. We have masking and reduction, the first thing. We don't just delete the words. We don't. We are not going to delete the words. We keep them so that we can, use them in the next steps. We, instead of just deleting the text, what we do, we preserve that 85% of that text, allowing our NLP models to maintain the understanding of the system or the syntax you're using and your temporal logics. We have sentence structure where you have the placeholders, like I said, like name, which allowing our NLP models to understand the syntax. We have your temporal logic, which is replacing date, the whole date, with the word date that keeps the flow without revealing the specific event of the time. And we have privacy shield. We paint over the secret. So we're not hiding the person. We're just hiding the identity. We keep the shape, but we just paint over it. Okay. Then we have pre-processing. We have two parts for it. The first part is cleaning. We have three kind of things. If you have knowledge about NLP, you might know what these three things are saying here. But even if you don't, we're gonna learn it here. Tokenization. What is tokenization? Is basically breaking walls of your text info into individual words or tokens. For example, if there's a word that is a very small of a word, if even if you don't break it in small words or tokens, you're good to go. But if there's a word like peripheral nervous system, endocrine system, or something like that, you're gonna break it into words. You're gonna break it into tokens for your easy assessment. And then we have segmentation. What is segmentation? Is basically you're gonna split the note into sentences. This is crucial for your SOP framework. Okay, we have stop word strategy. Normally what we do in the NLP or pre-process kind of a thing, we remove the stop words, but here in the clinical kind of thing, we don't. We need it. So no or not are vital in the clinical text. For example, you say no pain, but if in the pre-processing you remove the no and you just have the pain there, what are you going to think of it? You're going to be like, God, why? What does this word mean? You just have the pain. It's not delivering any meaning. So in the clinical text, to deliver the whole meaning of the word, what the patient is trying to say, what your observations are, or what records you have, you are not supposed to remove the no or not. Okay, so we do not remove them. We have the second step, which is normalization. We do two things in the normalization. The first is your lemmatization, and the second is your abbreviation expansion. In the lemmatization, what do we reduce the words to their root forms? For example, there is a word and that word is vomiting or vomited. Where is it coming from? It's coming from the root word vomit. So we're going to find the root word first, similar for the fractured, coming from the word fracture. We have our abbreviation expansion. We're standardizing the jargon for your global analysis. For example, you're using the QD. Your QD is an abbreviation for once a day. Your PT is an abbreviation for the patient. These are the kind of things that we use for the actual words. We make abbreviations for them. This is your normalization part. Okay, and then we have the codes. For the codes, I'm just gonna go to the hands-on for it so that you can easily understand it by seeing it there. I have a Colab notebook right here for the codes we're going to learn for this specific topic. We best to frame this code, I am going to say this is a text refinery because we're masking the things here, we're protecting the data, we're just going to make the raw data into the pure gold form. We are putting this through three distinct filtration steps, I'd say, to produce that pure gold, to structure that data, and to make that data safe. Okay, so first thing, we're importing the re. We have a few things here. Re is basically your regex, and regex is your regular expressions that which acts like a find and replace tool on a steroid. Okay, if we look here for the code, we're importing the re. This is your raw note. This is the raw note you're getting. This is what you noted. This is your clinical note, you could say. And now what we're gonna do with this, we're gonna clean this and we're gonna mask this text. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna do the de-identification. We are gonna mask the date. We have a blueprint here. We are giving this re.sub for the text, and we're gonna say d into 2 and d into 2 again and d into 4. This is giving us the blueprint, that month, your date, and the year. Okay, so this is how we are masking the date. We're gonna go the same for the text. For the names, we're gonna go here, re.sub. We have R, Mr, and we have Doctor, but we're gonna use the /1 right here. And why are we gonna use the /1? To just keep the name of the patient and the doctor separate. All right, so this is how this /1 is working here. And then we have pre-processing, the noise. what we learned, that we're gonna keep the abbreviation simple, we're gonna make sure it's all explained well. We have our abbreviations, which is the first is CO, like complaints of, HA for headaches, SOB is like shortness of the breath, PT is your patient, ethics is your history, and so on. Okay, so for your full abbreviation, full in abbreviations.item, here we're using a loop so that it returns you the whole thing. Okay, so every time you're going to use a QD, it is going to replace it with once a day. Every time you write ethics, it is going to replace it with the history. Okay, and then the third main step is that we're standardizing it by adding the dot lower, means that you're going to keep every single word out there in the lowercase, and then we're going to strip it. Why we're stripping it? You could do the right strip, you could do the left strip, but we're stripping it right here. So that removes any extra borders, any extra spaces, any extra tabs out there in the text we have. And then we return the text, we print everything, we do the process, we do the raw note, everything. We're just going to print it, okay? This is the output we're getting. Your original data. This is the original data that you had, where we had the date, like 3/13/2026. The patient was Mr. John Doe, a 45-year-old male. He had complaints of severe headache and shortness of breath, and his vitals XYZ, and the doctors, again, I took my name, Dr. Aisha. We're going to see that what our process text is giving us. We removed the date, removed the name of the patient, we replaced the CO by complaints of, all right, so where HA by headache and SOB by shortness of breath. And this says the same, the PT is replaced by the patient, ethics replaced by the history, HTN replaced by the hypertension, and then all of this remains the same. This QD is replaced by once a day, and again, signed by the doctor, we hide the name. So what is this? What we did here, we masked everything, we protected every single identifier for the patient as well as the doctor. So this is how we're doing this, and this is how we perform these 3 steps to get our pure gold out of the raw data. And I hope all of this is clear to you. Just practice it on your own, do the codes, practice them. You can change everything here. You could just change the abbreviations, you could just change the dates, you could change anything. You can take any kind of a raw data and just practice on it. And in that way, you'll know that how this de-identification, your pre-processing, and your standardization is done. And I hope this is all clear to you guys. That is it for today's lecture. See you in the next one. Okay, so where I told you guys that you're supposed to use the trainer.train so that your model knows where it is going, and this is how you're gonna go with it. We're gonna install we're gonna install a SQL for that. On what kind of a data we're training our model on. We import the numpys, again, the libraries, we print it, loading our evaluation matrices, we do the SQL, we evaluate the loads of the SQL that we imported back there. We give it the labels, we give it the predictions, the true labels, the results, the precisions, everything that we need in there, and then we update the trainer with our grading rubric. Okay, so this is how we're doing it. We're gonna print it, and then your training would be complete. This is with all this data right here, you're training your model. Okay, then we have live inference, which is testing our fine-tuned model. We're going to test our model, that is it finely tuned or not. So from transformers, we're going to import our pipeline. We're going to print setting up the inference pipeline, and then we use the pipeline for easy testing. We're going to use this pipeline, we're going to use our tokenizer, we're going to use our aggression strategy, which is going to be simple. And then we're going to test sentence. We have a test sentence. The patient was diagnosed with severe pneumonia and early stage Parkinson's disease, but does not have asthma. Okay, so we run the text through our newly trained model. We use the pipeline again. We display the results cleanly for the class. And then we use the if else statement, that if this is this, then print this, else for entity predictions, you are going to extract the useful bits from the pipelines dictionary. You're going to label it, you're going to give it an entity group, you're going to give it a word, you're going to give it confidence, and then you're going to print all these things. This is the output you're getting. You found the entity, the patient was diagnosed with this, label GO, model confidence. This is giving you that the model is confident about this information, this much percent. Then you find the entity, the Parkinson's, you have a label 1, found entity again, XYZ disease, but does not have asthma, just took it, okay? Step 6 is saving and downloading the model for deployment. You are going to save your model so that you could deploy it anywhere else. We save the model, we create a folder to hold our model. This is how you're creating a folder to hold your model. Then you're gonna print saving model on and tokenizers to this save directory XYZ. You save the trained model and the tokenizer. Then you zip the folder so that you can download it as a single file. This is how you're zipping the folder, okay? And then you print that, check your browser for the downloads, and then again, your model will be downloaded. That is how you train the model.